Hello and welcome to the Musical Instrument Investigator. Today on the website of French auction portal Intershare, we're going to have a look at an auction by Vichy Auctions. For those of you that don't know, Vichy, big French auction house, so they do lots of different auctions, but loads of musical instrument stuff, loads of specialist auctions, have quite a few auctions each year. This particular auction we're going to have a look at the moment is one of two auctions, and this is actually wind and plucked stringed instruments and some other bits and pieces. There aren't any bowed instruments, I don't think, in this auction, so those auctions are at another time. So this is kind of a general musical instrument auction, but nevertheless has some pretty interesting stuff, so hopefully we can see some curious bits. 394 lots, so quite a lot of stuff in this sale, so we're going to have to kind of go through it fairly quickly, otherwise this is going to be a ridiculously long video, but hopefully we'll find something interesting. 24% is the buyer's premium, so whatever the final hammer price is, you pay 24% of that on top. This is a French auction, so bear that in mind if you're looking to bid, if you want to ship something somewhere, import export fees, CITES restrictions, all of that kind of fun stuff that you have to deal with if you're buying something from another country or even buying something from the same country. So anyway, that's enough of my usual ranting introduction. If you do enjoy these videos, please consider subscribing, like or commenting, because it does actually really help and it'd be much appreciated. Anyway, without further ado, let's just get on with it and see if there's anything particularly curious in this auction. Got a flatback mandolin there, Antoine de Mauro in Paris, 50 to 80 euros. We're not going to get too deep into it. Dolly brand banjolele there. Interesting, a flat mandolin by Stromberg Voisinay. I had a parlor guitar once actually by Stromberg Voisinay. Actually really nice instrument that I sold. I would say I regret it, but I actually don't really ever regret selling anything. But it was a nice parlor guitar actually. So yeah, quite a good make there. Kentucky brand flatback mandolin. Mini banjo, Gibson model UB1. Interesting, 200 to 300 euros there. These Vichy sales, the general ones, are pretty good. They're pretty interesting usually. Greek baglama there with a distorted table. Interesting. Quite sweet little thing. Mandolin there. A Kalacha copy by Japanese Kunishima. Interesting, in Nagoya. It's kind of curious to see actually kind of a Japanese ballback mandolin. Neapolitan mandolin there, attributed to Stridente, 150 to 200 euros there. Nothing too good. Looks, I mean, yeah, it's actually fairly nice. Let's be honest, got quite a nice decoration there, but these aren't anything too crazy, to be quite honest. Roman mandolin bearing Gillespie iron mark. Okay, nothing too crazy there. This is pretty cool though, a Mandor. With a label saying 1780. Interesting. A rosette detached, 3 to 400. This is a really nice looking instrument. Yeah, this is cool. This is the kind of thing that I would be kind of interested in bidding on. But yeah, it's kind of curious what this other picture is. That's interesting. They've just kind of put it in for the images. Yeah, that's a cool looking instrument. I like that. So that's a good sign for this auction. Banjo guitar there. We don't see actually too many of those. English banjo. Banjo plectrum by A. Weaver, London, 1920. Let's have a quick look. I don't want to be glossing over banjos all the time. Another Roman mandolin there. Flatback mandole, Jerome Brothers. Banjo shaped ukulele from Lyon and Healy. Okay, interesting. 100 to 150 there. Pretty quite a nice instrument. French banjo guitar. Neapolitan mandolin by Rafael Calacha. There you go. 200 to 250 euros there. If that was a Calacha violin, that would be worth quite a bit more. Clifford Essex brand tenor banjo. I'm going mad. Banjo zither here. Flat mandolin made in the Czech Republic. Okay. A lot of two instruments, including a flat mandolin by Catania Carmelo. Let's have a quick look. Interesting. Enoch brand fretless fighting banjo. Another Neapolitan mandolin there. Divina Napoli. That's all fairly similar kind of work. Orpheum, tenor banjo there, 5-string banjo, Windsor, small French banjo, mute violin, these are always quite cute. Mando lyre here, made by Antonio Monzino, Milan, 1890. Patented by Calaccia. Okay, 400 to 500. That's actually, yeah, that's pretty cool. That's nice. Very nice. Yeah, that is a very nice instrument actually, so that's cool. 400 to 500. Lovely kind of mandolin lyre crossover there by good makers as well. Monzino, once again, if this was a Monzino violin, it would obviously be worth a lot more money as well. This looks like some kind of violin converted to be some kind of zither kind of fretted thing. Nothing kind of super. There's another one there. Nothing too crazy for any of these things. Oh, we do actually have a cello neck here, so there is something kind of vaguely bowed. Numerous worm bites. 19th century. Interesting figurehead there. Not really keen on the human kind of figureheads, to be honest. Prefer the lines. Amateur work violin. Label made by Francois Campa in Toulouse. 200 to 250 euros. Kind of curious choice of wood there. Interesting. Tahitian ukulele, okay. Made around 1980. Lute in white. Okay. 10 course and a chanterelle. Okay. So it's not being finished. Wow, 1,000 to 1,200 euros. Okay. That seems somewhat high estimate there. Okay. Another mute violin. That's interesting. One of these lute guitars that I'm really not a fan of. Single string cello bearing the Algo mark in Bourges. Okay, that's interesting. It's like kind of one of the cello version of one of these. Well, it's like a Strovar thing again, isn't it? But with a bigger bell. That's quite curious. Okay, there are some bowed instruments in here. Small violin without corners from the Werner and Alex Jacotte workshop in Neufchâteau, 1955. Yeah, bizarre. 60 to 80 on that. Warwick Soderbordy double bass there. Got some guitars here. Classical guitar. De Mauro, Ovation. Another classical guitar there. Henry Miller, nothing too crazy there. Jazz guitar. This is an interesting looking jazz guitar here actually. René Jerome label. 3 to 500. That's kind of quite nice aesthetics there. It's quite interesting. It's obviously had a different kind of bridge fitted before. Looks like something's going on there. Folk guitar made in Korea. Okay, so a copy of a Baroque guitar here. 5 course by Jean-Francois Schmidlet in the style of Verbaume from 2001. Yeah, kind of interesting. Quite like that choice of wood here. That's quite nice. 3 to 350 euros. That seems fair enough. Can't complain with that. Brazilian folk guitar. Okay, circa 1980. Missing truss rod plate. Thought it was going to say missing truss rod then. Cutaway jazz guitar. Amateur work. Pretty cool F-holes on that. Let's see, we're on to the next page now. There are a lot of instruments here. A Schrammel guitar. It's a kind of German type of harp guitar there. Made or attributed to Albin Hoyer. Okay, restored for playing 2 to 300. Yeah, I mean that's a fair estimate. It's quite an interesting one. Interesting patina. I've owned a couple of these in the past actually that needed restoration. I just sold them on in the end. I never bothered doing anything with them, but they are pretty cool. Cutaway jazz guitar, amateur work. Yeah, it looks a little bit ropey. Electric jazz guitar made by Thibaut Winterstein in 2020. Again, looks like a little bit rough around the edges. Gypsy jazz guitar there, and one of these Hawaiian guitars which seem really popular in France for some reason. Old Paris round guitar, second half of the 19th century. anonymous work. Really interesting. It's the first time I've seen one of those. Definitely curious looking. Court round folk guitar. Okay, let's have a look at this Baroque guitar. Guitar bearing the label and iron mark from Remy in Paris. Okay, 3 to 350, needs a lot of work there. Big crack on the back. Quite a nice looking instrument though, so definitely in need of some attention, but it looks very nice. Giannini classical guitar there. Half-sized guitar by Jose Ramirez. Fender Strat guitar there from Mexico. Another classical guitar, some pedals. We're not going to go too deep into these T-Rex, so good, nice pedals there. CMXR stuff, all the classic stuff that you would kind of expect. Fender amp there. A few more guitars. Jumbo folk acoustic guitar by Anton Jarowski, made in Vienna, 1936. 4 to 500 on that. Let's have a look. That's kind of interesting. Quite like the edge work on this. Kind of curious looking guitar there. I like the way that the scratch plate is kind of connected. So that's quite a nice looking guitar actually. Interesting body shape with this, the bridge quite far up. One of these Spanish guitars, around 1890. It looks like one of those kind of Salvador Ibanez type things. Quite curious. Speaking of Ibanez, semi-hollow body by Ibanez, the later Japanese maker, not the Spanish one. Jazz guitar by Antoine Demaro. They do like their jazz guitars as well in France. That's quite a curious one. It's had a few repairs, 3 to 400. Jazz guitar by Louis Paternotte, Matancourt. Another jazz guitar there by Thibaut Winterstein. It's clearly making quite a lot of instruments there. Right, a German-made guitar around 1950, 9 strings, 70 to 80. I quite like that actually. That's quite nice. Yeah, it's an interesting looking one. I quite like this body shape. It's quite nice. So it needs a bit of work, I think, but very interesting. It's a parlor guitar, German one, 1900. Very typical, not particularly amazing. Another Ibanez guitar there. Solid body bass from Vantage, Eagle brand guitar, wood song, electric guitar, Les Paul style, Gretsch there. One of these frameless arch tops here. And a solid body PV guitar there. Rainbow Aloma arch top guitar, USA, 1960. Interesting. Gretsch Electromatic model G5129. 5 to 800 on that. Right, another kind of German 9-string kind of guitar there by Gillespie. Yeah, interesting one as well. Quite like this. Nice bridge. Yeah, some pretty cool kind of harp style guitars in this auction so far. Kind of impressed. It's definitely interesting. Hollow body bass guitar by Hofner. Stratton brand arch top. Okay. Solid body by Ibanez. Classical guitar from Alhambra. Another gypsy jazz guitar there. And solid body electric guitar by Tysco. Oh, a 36 string harp from Fabrica de Arpa. Okay, 150 to 200 on that. Don't see harps all that often. I mean, sometimes we see some really nice kind of Erard harps and things in some of the UK auctions, but that's all good. Some music bits and bobs that we don't need to really look at, which is good, so that will save a bit of time on us trawling around. I'm sure all this stuff is quite interesting, but probably not useful for our search, so that's good. That's going to help us a little bit speed up the process. But we're back to instruments again. We've got chromatic accordions here. An Anglo concertina by Lacanal, so we know that these are always popular. This one possibly doesn't look like so high end as some of the other ones we've seen. More accordions here. Hohner one there. A small cabinet with 11 drawers in veneer wood containing various parts for accordions and tuning tools. That's interesting. Wonder if we get any pictures. Oh, we do. We get a few pictures of some bits and pieces. That's kind of cool. So that's something interesting. A Cavagnolo chromatic accordion there. Got another Lacanol there. Traces of wear. This is quite interesting. Cooperativa Armaniche chromatic accordion. Yeah, it's quite an interesting one. I know very little about accordions. I'll be quite honest. And I'm kind of okay with that. But if I see one which is really nice, then I'll definitely have a look at it. This Unisonore Bandonion by Alfred Arnold. It's kind of an interesting one. 300 to 350. I don't think I've seen one like that for a while. Another Lacanal there. This one looks a little bit maybe it's a similar kind of quality as the other ones. A Bandonion by Fuseli. Yeah, interesting. Many gaps to be restored. It certainly looks that way. Right, well, more. We're getting quite a lot. Belgian accordion there. Romantic accordion. I think these were popular in Germany. More chromatic accordions. That's some interesting Italian ones here. This one here, this Bozzetti. And this one, Paolo Rogledi. These are quite interesting. I mean, let's actually have a quick look at this Bozzetti. It's kind of quite charming, really. A Hona harmonica there, more accordions. Paolo Soprani there to be restored. Yeah, quite a collection actually. This is quite an interesting bandonion. I've never seen so many bandonions in an auction either. Legitimately, I don't really think I've seen many at all, but this is, I quite like that one. That's quite nice. Oh, a Tyrolean accordion. Okay, interesting. Russian accordion. Wow, I think this is someone's legitimate accordion collection here that's being sold. Russian chromatic accordion as is. Yeah, interesting. Another accordion there. A cabaret bass in boxwood by Joseph Rolls. We're going to get into some interesting woodwind stuff now. Cabaret bass in boxwood. Okay. Oh, lots of these cabarets here. That's pretty unusual as well to see so many. Then we've got a Chinese cello, okay, and a shamisen, an Indian sitar, a beautiful Indian sitar to be restored. Some flutes, Tamabrand drum kit, other bits and bobs, Hona harmonica, drum there. Interesting 19th century lectern. Okay, like double, it looks like a kind of double music stand. These for some reason are super popular in the UK, these kind of double lectern music stands. They just go for crazy money. Really, really surprising to be honest, but I guess there's a shortage of quality stands. A few other bits and pieces here. Okay, some cowbell rack there. Interesting, another Tama drum kit. Right, well, we can't have a French auction without hurdy-gurdies, can we? Modern amateur work. That looks pretty good to me. Not too bad. 200 to 300 on that. Sets of moulds for hurdy-gurdy, okay. Property of a Parisian amateur luthier, okay. Right, here's one by Henri Thuvenel in Mirecourt, 600 to 800. Interesting head on that. I'm not really sure how I feel about hurdy-gurdies. Part of me really likes them. Part of me is a bit fearful of them. Copy of a large model hurdy-gurdy wheel, 20th century, work of a passionate amateur. Fair enough. Well, it's good. Really curious looking model that. I wonder if that's based on something historical. Kind of really strange, odd kind of older peg box there. Right, some congas there. Now on to some piccolo flutes, ebony in grenadier wood there. Got some flageolets, okay, very good. And the piccolo flute, more flageolets there. Once again, not very knowledgeable about these kind of instruments, unfortunately, but they are kind of interesting to look at. Flageolet from Buffet Ain. Let's see, what I do really like is the boxwood clarinets, I have to say. Some grenadier flutes, and I think there are a few in this auction. Double case containing a grenadier piccolo flute and a Boehm system stamped dull net. Boxwood flute, horn rings, noblet. Another grenadier flute by Claire Suberin. Okay, interesting. Grenadier recorder, composite boxwood flute. Other flutes and stuff here. Ebony flute. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Composite boxwood flute. Okay. Grenadier flutes. Some silver metal flutes. Quite a few composite flutes apparently. Conical grenadier flute by Muller. Okay. Let's see. Set of 2 instruments including conical bore flute, grenadier, 5 nickel, silver keys. Okay. Some bits and pieces of flutes there. Alto clarinet in grenadier. We sometimes come across these curious things. Right, on to the next page. Right, boxwood clarinet. There we go. My favourite. Clarinet in grenadier. Belgian clarinet in C, boxwood. Boxwood clarinet here. These are great. I mean, if I had like loads of money and I didn't know what to do with myself, I would probably just have like a whole room full of boxwood clarinets, because I just think I don't know, there's something about it, the aesthetics of a boxwood clarinet with the kind of the brass keys and the kind of the darker mouthpiece. I just think it's really looks great. It's really interesting. One of these metal clarinets, we sometimes mention that people don't realise that at some point they were making metal clarinets for a bit. Composite boxwood C clarinet. It's kind of interesting, that one as well. Yeah, it's quite nice. Some more boxwood clarinets there. Claire Bellisser. Once again, kind of a bit lost on me exactly what is kind of good or not in terms of clarinets, but they look pretty good. More boxwood clarinets here. German clarinet in C. If anyone does know a lot about clarinets, please do let me know what I need to look out for. I'd be grateful. Boxwood A clarinet. I do need to speak to a clarinet maker actually and really understand what I'm looking at. Boxwood B flat clarinet there. More boxwood. Let's have a look at this one. Thibodeau Ain. I mean, I understand some of the makers, the Thibodeau, like big kind of dealers, makers of all sorts of instruments, and I'll recognise some of the English makers of wind instruments, but otherwise I'm a little bit at a loss, to be honest. Some more kind of we're on to oboes now. Boxwood oboes. We've got another page here. More oboes. Let's see. We've got alto saxophone stamp Beaugnier. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Oh, we've got Mr. Bassoon here as well. Jejube wood tenora. Okay, that's kind of cool. And a bassoon in maple. Buffet crampon. Okay. And let's see, an alto saxophone. Another alto saxophones. I wonder if we're going to have a good quality saxophone. We usually do have a Selma in here at these auctions. Dullnet, Muller, all pretty standard so far. Weltklang, nothing so far. Cornet there. JHL, Fisher, all fairly kind of normal stuff. More cornets there. Flugelhorn. B flat trumpet there. Let's see, brass bugles there. Oh, a cavalry trumpet there, stamped Cousineau Paris from 1925 with its tassels and everything. These are quite cool, definitely people that collect those. A Stossel 3-piston cornet with screw, stamped Guichard. Curious looking thing. B flat double bass sax horn there. A few sax horns here. Bass sax horn there. That's kind of a curious one. Yeah, quite a lot of sax horns in this auction. Yeah, wow. More hunting horns here, and natural horns. It's quite nice. Francois Perrennet. I think that's quite a good make. French horn, varnished brass. Solo natural horn with EB tone, anonymous. Accidents and restorations. It's kind of interesting. 100 to 150. Yeah, it's had a bit of a hard life. And a cavalry trombone with 4 pistons. Vertical model, second half of the 19th century. These I always find pretty curious looking. But anyway, there you have it. This is the Vichy auction, wind and plucked stringed instruments, at least the first day. This finishing on the 3rd of November. It is the first today, so a couple of days left to go. I probably omitted to say that at the beginning. The next auction of kind of musical instruments from Vichy is on the 4th of November, so do kind of watch out for that as well. But really interesting auction, actually. Some pretty cool stuff, to be honest. I was quite impressed. Definitely in the plucked instrument zone. Some interesting looking wind instruments, but like I said, it's a little bit out of my knowledge sphere, but I'm sure there's some interesting stuff there for sure. So yeah, just like to say thanks a lot for watching, really appreciate it, and hopefully catch you next time. Bye.